The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Media Mash,
A roundtable of Cowboys insiders
dropping wisdom
and offering sizzling takes
on the current state of your Dallas Cowboys.
Now your host,
Newy Scruggs.
Media Mash, here we go. Let's ride.
No, he got energy today, boy. He got energy today.
Yeah.
He was going to sleep on the last couple of weeks.
It's a hot tamale something right here. That's Sugar Rush. That's Sugar Rush. Took an energy drink. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Boy,
Yes,
he
sir.
was going to sleep on the last week.
He's at the itis. All right. John Machota of The Athletic. Patrick Walker back again on the Media Mash here on DallasCowboys.com. He is the longest tenured beat writer, and I may say, I think you might be Jerry Jones' favorite beat writer.
Man, Jerry Jones cool.
I think you was favorite, though. I think you was favorite.
That's a badge of honor? Is it good, bad? What is that?
I take it.
Depends on what room you in.
I take it, man. I take it.
You don't never ask Jared the tough questions. You
I
don't
think-
ask him anything.
I think you're McCarthy's favorite too.
Like that.
Jory's McCarthy's favorite.
Like that voice. You don't ask.
Jory.
Whose voice is that you're doing?
I don't know. Somebody on Twitter would be trying to.
You don't ask Jared.
Oh, that's the go-to Twitter voice.
I don't know what it is.
That's
John 25, 55.
Yeah,
0617004689.
Tough guy.
With the blank Abbey.
Yes, with no Abby.
You've replaced Randy Galloway as Jerry's favorite on the beat. So there you go. So there you go.
Was that a fact? With
Yeah,
Randy?
Galloway. Yeah.
I just think it's funny because the other day on the radio, when he was talking about Gregory, he called him Randy Galloway for a second, started laughing, and then corrected himself and said Randy Gregory. So
No, they had a great relationship. And you know, I'll say this. I mean, he's one of the best media personalities I've ever been around. I've been around some pretty cool people. Randy had a way of getting these owners and these head coaches to care what he said. I mean, they cared. And they go back and forth. It was fun. I learned a lot from Randy, and obviously he's a very, very good friend of Clarence because they spent a lot of time working over at the Star Telegram. But that was fun times when Randy was in the room. It was fun times because he was going to ask and had a good way of asking his direct question. The great Jim Murray, I got to be right here when he worked for the LA Times columns for years. He had a great way of being able to ask you that zinger question in a nice kind
With
way.
tenderness.
With tenderness.
I appreciate your tenderness.
With tenderness.
With tenderness. And I took Clarence's tenderness into my interview with Jerry. So, but yes, to be able to ask a tough question and do it with some tenderness, and I think that is a skill. That is a skill. And
I watched your interview with Jerry at the training camp. It's very good, very good.
It came from him and a few good men. A little bit of mix of that together. So that's what we got there. All right, guys, tell me what's the news of the day here.
Well, the news of the day is that Zeke hates Arlington.
Oh, my God.
It's not the news of the
That's
day.
not the news of the day.
And it's not.
He hates the drive.
Yeah, it's not that he
to
hates the
Arlington.
city. He just hates the drive.
Headline: Zeke hates going to Arlington. Move the stadium to Frisco.
Hey, Clarence, stop the drive. Okay? Stop the
No, I
drive.
asked Zeke why he didn't witness history with his cohorts, his buddies, his best friend, and he's like, "Man, I hate driving to Arlington.
That's what he said.
I hate driving to Arlington." But really, to be serious for a minute, because he talked about it was a practice day. I hate driving to Arlington. It also shows Zeke's maturity, because when Zeke was a rookie, he missed nothing. He was like Micah. You know, I distinctly remember as a rookie, and John, remember there was I think it was a Kanye West concert downtown on a Tuesday. Zeke was there. That, as a starting quarterback, did not go because it didn't look right for him as a starting quarterback to go to that concert on a Tuesday when he should have been working. But I mean, that just shows you Zeke's maturity as well, old age, whatever you want to call it. But you can grow in some areas and not completely all the way. I mean, I don't know what the for.
I'll tell you what the is for.
What?
He don't like baseball. How about that?
No,
He's probably not a baseball.
No, it's not a baseball thing. It's not a baseball thing.
If it was Kanye,
it was a
he's
drive.
Cardinals fan, but I'm just saying I can probably.
No, I don't think it was. I just think it was a drive, but even beyond the drive, I mean, as a rookie, he just went for the party.
Right.
You know, he went. But we going to have a good time.
He could ride with that.
To Clarence's point, it was the drive. In addition to, it's not like his cohorts in that whole situation, like it would have ended once the game ended. There would have been a little bit of chill time, a little bit of
hanging out, right?
Decompression or whatever the case may be. And Zeke made a point of aiming at the fact that we got practice tomorrow,
right?
And so that he didn't say that by accident. He was kind of letting you know, like, hey, I'm thinking about being rested for practice.
That's maturity. Let's give him credit for some maturity there.
Yeah.
Growth
mindset.
I would say the bigger news is that.
Thank you, John.
I was going to say the actual
Thank
news.
you, thank you, John.
Is that Dak Prescott didn't practice. He worked off to the side from the portion we got to see, not doing the QB school thing, which Mike McCarthy says that's what he has to do as the next step. Mike McCarthy said earlier in the week that Dak Prescott has to, he wants to see him have a full week of practice before he's ready to play in a game. Well, he's obviously not getting that. Wednesdays are a very important day. And so to see him on the resistance cords, not out there with the team, shows you. Obviously, Cooper Rush will be the starter again, Will Greer, the backup. The other thing, and maybe this is, you guys won't think is as important, but I thought seeing Damon Clark out there. And
fantastic.
I just think that it all depends on what you thought of Damon Clark in the draft, because there was a lot of people say he wouldn't play at all this year, and you had Jerry and some others saying, no. And I think Steven said it too, that we're not ruling him out. And to see him out there, this was his first practice since he's had the neck surgery in the offseason. So I'm not saying he's going to play in the next week or two, but he certainly seems on track to be able to contribute in some way.
Yeah, and where? The question is, and again, as when McCarthy talked last week about guys that getting their feelings hurt, it's a good problem to have. Mm-hmm. Where he's going to play. Just piggyback on the Dak thing that I thought was funny is that the last couple of weeks, Dak was running out there with quarterbacks, making it seem like he was doing something. He was out there taking snaps, and now it's serious. Now I'm really cleared to rehab. He's not with the quarterback. Right. He's just rehabbing. What was he doing the last couple? Why weren't you just rehabbing the last couple of weeks? It was a show.
I've never seen him come out that door that he came out of.
Right.
And he came out of it with Mike McCarthy.
Right.
I was like, what is this?
So I was like, that stuff last week was a sham.
I think if he had it his way, I think if he had his way, they would do the resistance cords on the far end of the field.
Right, because he was taking snaps and stuff.
Puff? It was all puff.
It was all puff.
But I think we knew that when
yes.
So even the eternal optimist and Jerry Jones, we knew that there was that mixed with a good bit of gamesmanship and not letting the future teams like the Los Angeles Rams and to a lesser degree the Washington Commanders, just not letting them know officially that Dak Prescott wasn't going to be on the field. And then there's the component as far as not putting him on the IR, as far as him still being around, helping with the game plan, things like that. But I think I can speak for everyone at this panel and say that none of us believe that he'd be back for this game or prior, and for me, I had always circled the Eagles game as the most likely once the team peeled back from the 8-week projection, because and to be honest, the team never really put out the 6 to 8 week projection. That was third parties, but then the team
doctors.
But the third parties got it from the team. They got it from the team doctors. Yeah,
obviously not. Come on,
yeah.
Stop the drama. My point is when it came back from 6 to 8 to we're not putting them
3.
on. My thing was, okay, maybe they went in there and they said, okay, well, this doesn't look as messed up as we thought it would. So, okay, fine. But even then, we didn't believe that was going to be a 3-week return or a 4-week return. So, the fact that he likely won't be back for Los Angeles, okay, we kind of knew that. But kind of circling back to Damon, I think that not immediately, but eventually, that could be another huge addition to a defense that's already playing lights out for Dan Quinn. And me being an SEC guy, go Dogs, I've seen a ton of
How did it look against Missouri?
You mean the W? Looked like a W to me.
Herschel Walker's Dogs, didn't they?
Yeah, Herschel Walker.
Yeah, he played very well for us back in the day. Make sure you still respect that dog. That's all. Yeah, as a player. That said, Damon Clark, I've watched a ton of his film in real time, and if he can translate what he did at LSU to the NFL level, he is going to be dangerous. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be as early as 2022. If he can, get through this 21-day window, get activated, I think he'd be a bigger contributor initially on special teams than anything. But maybe by the end of the season, you're talking about him playing alongside Parsons, mentoring under Anthony Barr, LVE. He could become some sort of an impact player on defense, maybe as early as December.
Yeah. Mike McCarthy talked about me. He hasn't played football in a long time. Right. This is no training camp, all this stuff. So it's a ramp. It's good news. He's cleared and he's on track to play. But he's a long way from contributing. But since you're an SEC guy, in college at their best, Damon Clark or Jabril Cox?
Damon. And I'm a fan of Jabril, and I felt like Jabril, he still has, the book is still being written on him. He has the potential to be, a very big contributor on this defense. But if you're asking me head to head, Damon.
All right, both healthy. I'm just saying.
Yeah, both healthy, head to head.
Jabril's still coming back from ACL.
Okay.
Prime Jabril versus Prime Damon, my needle leans towards a Prime Damon, especially for what Dan Quinn would utilize him for. Like that, he could be destructive maybe as early as 2020.
Like I'm saying, 2023, you're talking about the excitement of the speed, the young speed with those two linebackers. If they're at their best and can realize that potential to go with Micah Parsons,
and he's physically a specimen on top of that.
Damon's he looks the part coming off the bus.
Yeah.
One other locker room takeaway. I was just telling another reporter this. I feel like at least half the times that we talk to a player in the locker room, they're like, I'm talking because I have to. It's part of my job. I'll answer some questions. I don't really love doing this, but I'll do it. And then there's probably, I wouldn't even say half. There's probably another 20 or 30% that really get into it. Well, today was one of those days where J-Ron Curse wanted to talk to us. Like, J-Ron Curse is very excited to be back out there talking about how he thinks that there's no doubt, hands down, they have the best safety group in the entire league. And just to hear and even think about that is just fascinating to me because of just how okay at best the safety position's been for the Cowboys in such a long period of time. So he's supposed to be back this week. Then you have Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson. I mean, they're in great shape right now. A good problem to have.
I mean, we talked about the quarterback controversy. Does Curse get his job back? Donovan Wilson stay at that spot?
It's two different jobs.
I'm just saying.
It's two different jobs. The base isn't actually the 4-3 as much as it is the big nickel.
So I'm going to ask you the question I brought up on the Players Lounge. You get Curse back. How do you utilize this group, especially going against Cooper Kupp, and Stafford just wants to keep feeding him? What do you?
Or he also likes to throw to Higbee.
Okay.
He's
number two in targets.
Yeah, so number 2 in targets. So Higbee is a big guy too, and so Curse is specializing at tight end. If you saw what he did last year in Kansas City with that beautiful interception, I mean that's one thing he brings to the table. So that's part of that package. It's not just the safeties. With Cooper Kupp, it's those corners, and how do you use them? How do you use Diggs and put him on him and let him follow him, around the field, or how do you bracket him? The good news is that if you watch the game the other night, the fact that they target him so much, it's easy to defend him. He gonna get his balls. You start from making big plays, but you can anticipate some things. I mean, they ended the game with that pick six the other night because he has an over-reliance of trying to throw the ball to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I think Cooper Kupp can put up big numbers and you can still beat the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 140-some yards.
He had 18 targets the other day. I mean, okay, whoop-de-damn do.
No, but Curse mentioned that was the top two guys. Obviously, is going to be stopping Kupp, and then the other one will obviously be Higbee.
Yeah.
But in Curse has played a year with Stafford in Detroit. He knows that the opportunities are going to be there, man. I mean, Stafford is the type of guy that he's going to take shots. He's got the big arm, but he's also puts balls in some spots that there's the opportunities for big plays, and also their offensive line is
right.
Horrible.
And that's the real issue. Yeah. I mean, you saw what the 49ers did in getting after the quarterback, and the Cowboys have the best pass rush in the league, even though the Eagles are number 1 in sacks. But if you look at pressures and hits and percentage and all the other stuff, nobody gets after the quarterback like the Cowboys. And with this, their opportunity to take advantage of that line and do some of the things and put Stafford in a bad position where it just won't be easy to play pitch and catch with Cooper Kupp.
They can't run the ball. Looking at the numbers right here, the Rams are 29th when it comes to running the football, 72.3 a game. Sean McVay has leaned on the run early on in his first 5 years coaching the Rams here. He just doesn't have the horses to run, in my opinion.
Right, and it's funny because we were talking about dogs and Stafford. I mean, I know Stafford through and through from his years with Georgia, and I followed his career up in Detroit as well because obviously he's an Athens legend, and I always follow my legends. But the thing about Stafford is it's what's true now is what was true at UGA in that if you shrink his window to pass and you take away the time that he needs to go through progressions from 1 to 2 to 3, he will throw an interception or give you plenty of opportunities for you to take the ball away. And the same is true here. It was true in Detroit, and now it's true in Los Angeles. And now you're talking about a Rams offensive line. They lose Shelton, which was their backup center. They lose him for 4 to 6 weeks to injury. You put in Coloni. Coloni is your third-string center, but he's actually your backup left or right guard, interior lineman. And now to your point, they don't have the horses to go against a Neville Gallimore, and looks like Quentin Bohanna's going to play Chauncey Ghost and also Odigizua, and we haven't even mentioned Micah Parsons quite yet.
Piggyback on what you just said right there. Backup center, I think they're on a third center. And they've got two their backup guards on both sides.
And their tackle situation, I mean, they still have not replaced, Whitworth and all that. So, I mean, there's some opportunities for the Cowboys rush to harass them. But again, they're going to have to stop the run. And yes, and again, teams are going to run on the Cowboys because they don't want to have to face that pass rush.
And also the Cowboys are getting them at a great time because if you look at what the Rams have done over the last couple of years, you think this Rams team is going to be the same one that's in the season? There's no way. No. They'll make a move for somebody. This will not be the same exact. They've pushed all the chips in to not sit there and just be like, oh, this is all we got? Oh, well, I guess this is how the ship's going to go down. They're going to make a move for somebody out there.
No, and I love John's point as far as Cooper Kupp. You can let them target Cooper Kupp 19 times, and if he gets 100 yards, whatever, keep him in front of you and keep him from getting, turning those 100-plus yards into 3 touchdowns or something like that, and then you make someone else beat you. But if you can get that interior pressure, shut down their run game, makes them one-dimensional, shrinks the windows for Matthew Stafford, then the question becomes when those errant throws are made, can you pick them out of the air? When you get hands on him, can you force the fumble? Because you're going to get hands on him. So, and the Cowboys defense is built for that, and they're hungry for more takeaways because they led the league in takeaways last year. They're starting to kind of find their groove a little bit here through 4 weeks, but it's not equivalent to what Dan Quinn would like to see. So this would be a great game to kind of put that on full display.
And there's no question they thought that the Allen Robinson connection was going to be better than it's been. And then him and Stafford have not been able to get on the same page.
He won't throw to him.
Well, even when he does, they're not on the same page.
But
he doesn't have time. Allen Robinson is the second read. You don't have time to get to the second read. You default to your security blanket.
I hear you. I'm just saying when he had one target Monday night.
Who, Allen Robinson? Yeah, a pretty target.
One target. I mean, dude got 18, he got 1. I mean, he can throw me the ball.
There's some favoritism going on. All right, let's get our first break. Exactly. Let's get our first break in here. I want to dive into Zach Martin, his health for this football game. Wait till the break.
I mean, dude, eating your candy bar. I need
something to drink. I'm sorry.
Take a break. I'm gonna get you there.
Thirsty.
Okay. All right, Clarence needs a break. We'll do that right now. This is Media Mash.
They're on their phones. I want to give them something to drink.
We're working.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Home Ownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field. United Ag and Turf. With John Deere Zero Turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash, you got John Machota, Patrick Walker. He is Clarence Hill.
Oh, man.
Refreshed.
Oh, man.
Refreshed with his
hydrated.
Yes, hydrated. Zach Martin, good to go?
Good to go.
Okay.
He returned to the game for those that need some definitive clarity on that.
Yeah,
so he
wasn't not even on the injury report.
not even on the injury report. So he left the game for a little bit. Looks like he had an ankle issue against the Commanders, but he returned to the game. That was a good sign. Immediately after the game, Team PR said that there were no issues with Zach Martin. But, of course, you want to make sure that's the case when you see the first injury report. Not minutes ago, we get the first Week 5 injury report. Zach Martin's not even on there, so he is all set.
Michael Gallup, how has he responded after just 1 week? I didn't get in the locker room today, so did he talk? Is he going to talk tomorrow?
He spoke today.
Okay.
And he was in excellent spirits, all smiles, big ear-to-ear Michael Gallup grin. He said he feels great, and before he went into the locker room and spoke with him, I had kind of like a quick one-off. He was coming out of the training room, and I was like, hey, how do you feel? He said, I feel great, and I said, just kind of jokingly, I said, so what are we looking at, 100 yards next game? He was like, yeah, they were kind of holding me a little bit, So he's starting to feel that confidence, which is kind of different from even a week prior when he basically was saying he needed a few more reps, 2 more padded practices, et cetera, et cetera. Now he's starting to sound like the Michael Gallup that says, hey, you can't stop me, which goes to what Cooper Rush said after the game and said, he needed that touchdown because it reminded him, hey, I'm Michael Gallup. So, yeah, I think Michael Gallup is mentally now back.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think physically he would have probably been fine to come back maybe a week or two before, but he had to get there right mentally. And the guy that I felt like we saw in the locker room right after the game and the guy we saw today in the locker room certainly seems like someone that's past that.
He was in Arlington with you last night, watching Aaron.
He was,
Judge.
but
he made the drive.
Yeah, he said he was actually in the restroom.
He missed home run. He was in the bathroom.
No, we saw your tweets. You told on everybody. So you just told on
dry snitching. Huh?
Is it dry snitching when they tell you?
It was wet snitching, I guess.
I don't know if they wanted me to tweet it out, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, stop. Anyway,
I love the Clarence that Clarence tweet right there. That was a doozy. The picture of
just stirring it up.
Gallup, Dak, and Parsons. Clarence subtweet: Cooper Rush at home watching Ramsville. In the comments,
that's funny.
Bro,
you just started it up.
The comments, man. You love to stir the pot. Exactly. Everybody knows NFL off day is Tuesday. Cooper Rush is at home scared of the Rams. Where he needs to be.
I just feel like most people get to a point where that stuff just becomes exhausting on social media, but others just like to stir it up and get everyone. I guess you're bored, and so you just.
Well, I really think the whole controversy is silly. I mean, and I wrote today. Read my, judge me by my stories, not necessarily by my tweets, but
I judge you by both.
But like I wrote today, I mean, it's peace breakers out there. My grandma called them peace breakers. The Cowboys are happy. The locker room is happy that they have, can we curse on here?
No.
Okay. Well, because Zeke was asked, after Dak got hurt. Did he go home and say a curse word, about what's going on in the state of the team?
What does it start with?
All shucks.
Fire truck.
He said all shucks.
He said fire truck.
He said all shucks, and everybody had that all shucks moment. Most people had the fact that it was at that point we thought it was 6 to 8 weeks. We didn't know it was going to be 4 weeks. You think the season is over. You lose your quarterback for 6 to 8 weeks. The season is usually over. And so that moment from what people thought after Dak got hurt to Cooper Rush coming in, I don't care what you saw against Minnesota last year. They were getting ready to give away his job in training camp. No one had any idea that they would win 3 straight games and be 3-1 at this point, especially with that schedule. When we thought of Cincinnati, when we thought of Rams, all this stuff coming up, no one thought that. And so stop it. Instead of just being happy,
can't you give him his rose?
I'm not. No, because he's going to project positively. Instead of being happy.
Or reality.
Or correctly.
Instead of being happy, I'm talking about the people out there that are pumping up something that shouldn't be. Instead of just being happy that with a backup quarterback did what they wanted to do, which Jerry, talked about. This is what you want. Have a great situation. Now this stuff about Dak can learn from Cooper, and Cooper does this better than Dak. And now we should have a quarterback controversy. No, that's you're peace breakers. You are trying to start stuff when there's really nothing there.
Okay. All right.
Dak is QB1. And I was having fun with all of that.
I know.
But Dak is QB1, and there should not be any question. As much you love Cooper Rush and what he's done and leading his team to victories, for this offense to operate at optimum efficiency, you need Dak Prescott still a level it can go.
Listen, your insurance policy did exactly what it was supposed to do. So because you can't cut it both ways. You can't say, okay, well, if Cooper Rush came in and the Cowboys go, 0-3 thus far with Cooper Rush, then everybody say, well, the team didn't do anything to address this. This is ridiculous. Fire everybody. ... Flip the table, and he's not defeated thus far, and you're like, oh, I saw one today. This is no joke. Kurt Warner-esque. This is Kurt Warner's arc,
right?
Career arc now. STOP. Just stop. Cooper Rush has been capable, as I said he would be. I just wanted to see if he delivered that extra 5%, which is kind of like the clutch factor in the fourth quarter. He has been doing so. So just take it, to Clarence's point, take it for what it is. He came in, he did exactly what you're paying him to do, but that in no way, shape, or form means that he has supplanted your $40 million guy, which really doesn't have much to do with the salary as much as it has to do with Dak has won exponentially more games in this league with a worse defense. We talk about the safety unit. It didn't look like this for most of Dak's career, right? So, like Cooper Rush said, the defense is winning him games, but Cooper Rush is also not losing games for the defense.
Bobby, so let me stick up for those fans, though, for a second.
Oh, boy.
let me do this. All right.
He said, let me do this.
I completely agree in this particular case with Dak and Cooper Rush. Whenever Dak's ready to go, he goes back out there.
Yeah,
That's no brainer. But the one thing I will point out, though, is that there are the Kurt Warner stories. There are sixth-round pick Tom Brady taking the job from Drew Bledsoe. There is Nick Foles leading the Philadelphia Eagles to Super Bowl. None of this stuff happened in leather football helmets. So because that stuff happened and because the NFL beast is so strong, I can see where fans that they're not covering it every day like we are, and it's their just enjoyment, it's something to kind of get away from a job they probably don't enjoy, that I can see where they try and point to these things like, well, maybe it's like this, maybe it's like that. That's not going on in this particular case, but I can see where some people will get that notion from because there are some successful paths where that's true.
But it's one thing when it's fans, but we're talking about also media, okay? They're doing the same thing.
But even that,
and let me finish. And the difference between those guys is, when Kurt
you
Warner
and I both know that all media is not the same.
No, I agree.
It's like all sources are not the same sources.
I agree.
So
but my
be
point
careful
is,
with that.
But my point is the Kurt Warner thing. Kurt Warner came out and was number one in the league in everything, though. I mean, and again, we bless Cooper up has done a good job, but there's still points left on the field. I mean, he's not lights out here.
Show on turf.
There's still some things that are
15 points a game.
So
let's just keep everything in perspective.
He's won games, but the offense is still not running at optimal level of efficiency. That's all I'm saying.
Bobby Wagner, Rams linebacker, came out today and said this about Cooper Rush, quote, just because a guy's been good against the blitz so far doesn't mean he'll be good Sunday. Sounds like, maybe.
Oh, Cooper is going to be so fired up when he reads that.
I
mean,
wait till he's cursing by. He and his wife are cursing Bobby Wagner right now.
Yeah, his demeanor is completely indicative of a guy who's going to get fired up at bulletin board material.
Unleash the Chippewa up in it.
So. Listen, that's Bobby Wagner, and he's
played pretty well.
He's earned the right to say things like that.
Knocked over that fan, knocked out that fan, light up a fan.
Fan filed a.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, good luck with that.
How you gonna be commit a crime and trying to file charges?
We learned about this in my business law class. This is a very common thing.
That's wild to me.
Very, very common thing. Yeah, you know what? Boom, you hit me. You assaulted me. I didn't deserve your assault. You had on full pads.
Commission of a crime.
Right. You had on weaponry, and you attacked me with weaponry that didn't.
This is interesting. I didn't think of it from that perspective.
This
still
is,
foolish.
To me, this is akin to if I'm a dog breeder, if I'm raising dogs and I have a kennel in my backyard, right, and I have the signs up, and the signs are basically up and saying, da 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 da, and you come in, you break in, and one of my dogs bites you. And then you sue me because my dog bit you. You do realize there was a direct hazard that you could draw a line from you breaking into my kennel. And similarly to the football field. You ran onto a football field where football players are playing football and you got hit by a football player.
The difference is that Bobby Wagner knew what he was doing.
My dog will know what he's doing as well.
No. Bobby Wagner was trying to inflict harm. So that's
if
the
he was trying to inflict harm, he would have really tried to cut through dude.
Because there are people there's people whose job it is to arrest that guy.
The guy who tore his ACL trying to chase the guy down.
Yeah, that's right. That ACL guy.
Patrick, I'm just telling.
No. You're just
as far as your dogs.
Yeah.
Here's your dog story. Different. Buddy of mine's family owned a grocery store in Crenshaw. Dude robs the liquor, runs. They go chasing him through several houses. He jumps over the fence, hops up in somebody's yard who's got dogs. Dogs start tearing up that booty. He sued the grocery store because the dogs attacked him. Even though he stole liquor from them, he turned around and sued it, and they had to go get lawyers, and they had to go defend this thing.
Wow.
They didn't win. He didn't win.
The same, but you still.
But he's saying you could still.
You can sue it.
Somebody's going to take the case.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
and this is
unlike the grocery store. I think the NFL got enough lawyers to defend this, and
But
I think Wagner's and the Rams' lawyers.
Right.
I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
This is what
I think,
people
but
do in
seriously, the
America.
difference is though, really, that's not Wagner's job. So I mean, it's the police's job or the security's job to tackle them.
He saw security tearing ACL, and he was like,
that security guy that tore the ACL. I mean, goodness gracious,
he tore everything.
Did you see that?
Because he tried to stand back up and it went full cricket leg. So ACL, PCL, MCL, XCL, whatever CL is in there. He
tore everything on his body.
Get better soon, bro.
People are suing for everything. The guy that jumped out the stands trying to get the Aaron Judge ball. He must. You know what? You didn't have the fence. It's such and such. Right. It wasn't at the preferred level. Supposed to be. The codes says it need to be 8 inches. It was only 7.5, and I slipped, and you threw me out of the ballpark. People will find all kinds of ways to.
Oh, you mean like if you're in the far 4 lanes over and you just go ahead and start turning in front of somebody?
What,
and then
people
you
that
sue
hit
them?
Jerry? The people
That's
that
what
hit
I'm
Jerry.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suing, the people sue Jerry. I mean, yes, this is the kind of society we live in.
I'm suing you because your car was in my way.
Right.
I'm telling you, man, this is. There's a reason why these dudes on TV they're gonna take all these cases and everything. By the way, when you guys are in LA, I want you to take a picture of this billboard for me because I forgot to when I was there. There's an attorney named Sweet James.
Sweet James.
Here we got the Texas Hammer Light. Sweet James is out there.
Okay.
So if you can see the billboard,
take
a picture of it for a city tune. Sweet James. Because I forgot to do it. It's like, I forgot to get
Sound like a Detroit player.
Say, man,
Sweet James.
Hey, man, we call Sweet James. Get on
Sweet
the case,
James.
man. Get on the case.
I'll be looking for that.
Yes, Sweet James. That is the. And when you go to Roscoe's, give me the hot pepper sauce, please. I'll pay you for it. Give me that hot pepper sauce from Roscoe's.
If it makes it back, if it can make it back. If it's that good, it might not make it back.
You can buy yourself
Can't make
one.
any promises.
First off, there's one on the table that you can, if you wanted to, you could. But anyway, that's
look at that. Look at that.
Another.
See, then I need to hire Sweet
James. But yes, you could.
I don't know. It's the Roscoe's that I usually go to right there by the airport.
Yeah,
they had a murder there just a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if I'm going to that
in
one.
California?
Yes.
At the airport? This doesn't check out at all.
Wait, so you're not going to
I'm kidding. Have you been there? We're just there for training camp. You hang around by that airport?
I'm talking about the Roscoe's by the airport.
Right, I know, right there in Inglewood.
Yeah,
Inglewood.
at the Wood.
You're not going to go to Roscoe's.
I don't know if I'm going to that one. I might have to go to one down.
You know why I go?
Down Gower.
Here's why I go.
The one. There's
going to be more security. They only had one security person that's in that. They got it.
Listen, those type,
same right. That's around the corner. Same Roscoe's that the other rapper got killed at.
The real talk though is those types of establishments tend to have the best food though.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. The ones where you have to risk your life to get,
Which one? I'm on La Brea?
Well, La Brea is the one. That's the one I used to go to when I worked in L.A.
Right.
That used to be my spot. But the one in L.A. I used to go to all the time. We were there after the Rams. That Rams.
Yeah, I've gone there many times because it's closed. Yeah, I'm saying somebody's got shot
Dennis
there.
Thurman.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's just like rib joints. The ones you got to risk your life for to get some ribs. Those are the most delicious ribs.
Listen,
people shot in Inglewood all the time.
I'm going to the one in Hollywood.
Speaking of ribs, Tank and Parsons are going after Stafford's this Sunday in a big way.
Let's take this break here. Come back more of the media match with Clarence Hill, Patrick Walker, John Machota. I'm Newey Scruggs. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
This sweet! Did you get to work on time?
Yeah, but I just realized it's Sunday.
Little Sweet says head on home. Dr. Pepper's on its way. So sweet, unique. Baby, there's nothing better. I bet you've probably done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper. Did you invest your nest egg in an NFT?
Yeah, and I don't even know what that is.
It's a non-fungible token. Everyone's done something that deserves a Dr. Pepper.
When you build, you start with the foundation. And home ownership is a foundation of a stable future. The Bank of America Community Homeownership Commitment has helped over 34,000 people lay the groundwork so far, with up to $10,000 towards your down payment or 3% of the purchase price, whichever is less. The satisfaction of owning your own place can become a reality. Visit bankofamerica.com/homeowner to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Back to Media Mash.
Media Mash. Everybody's on their phones looking for the newest nuggets and information to get to Cowboy Nation. Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star Telegram, Dog T. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. John Machota, The Athletic. How has that trade been since you and Calvin switched spots? You know, Calvin was at The Athletic, and then you at the Morning News. I mean, that was a big major trade. We don't normally see the last big trade we've seen in media like that. And what really a trade? It was Randy Galloway as a free agent walking over to the Star T. So how's that?
They got the same amount of money that Randy got.
I don't know if anybody gonna ever get that. Everybody closed. Randy closed and closed. I mean,
we were supposed to be the
Team?
trio team, and then the other team that was trading him just made a really good offer that I couldn't turn down. So and it's been good. I don't have any regrets.
About the money, huh?
It's all about the
That's
money.
a factor.
You enjoy, boy. You just running the checks. You enjoy.
I mean, if we're being honest, you can't say it's just that when you go from, for several years, you're with 2 to 3 other people, and then you get to go to a place where after every game you just write about whatever you want to write about. There is a part of that. It's
about being the guy.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
Team me.
It's not about team me. It's just enjoyable.
Everybody wants to be number one.
It's okay to be.
Everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants to be starting good.
I love me some me. Don't get me wrong, but
you don't have to get with Calvin or David Moore. What are you doing? See, like Gail can have to get all the scraps.
Sometimes more than that. Sometimes more than that.
Poor Gail can get all the scraps.
Sometimes you're getting 5th, 6th story. You got to factor in some columnists.
Gail can like the scraps. Anyway, it was.
I'm not laughing at you.
Anyway, it was a rapper, P&B Rock, who got killed at Roscoe's on Manchester. Just had to get there.
I hate you.
Patrick, what were you saying about Stafford's rib?
You guys, do you have any positive film with guys that got cut? I need some more positive.
Let me take it back to football real quick. I thought it was interesting. Right before the break, you did say about the going after Stafford, and I was talking to, I want to say it was Bobby Belt about this, and it was, but we thought that they were going to just wreck Carson Wentz too. I just feel like sometimes in sports, there's those games where you're like, this is how it's going to go. Mm-hmm. That offensive line's terrible. Stafford's not getting the ball out of his hand. Cowboys are going to sack him 10 times. He's going to throw 3 interceptions, and they're going to easily win this game. But then when the games happen, they just never seem to go the way that
But they did wreck Carson Wentz. They just didn't get the sacks.
Yeah.
But they did wreck him, and they affected him.
Yep.
The two intentional grounding,
and they hit him many times. They caused those things. So they did. That's what people. It's not always about the sacks. They affected the quarterback, and they will affect the quarterback. this weekend. I
Yeah,
mean, that goes without saying.
The pressures are going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of what we were just talking about a second ago when it comes to Carson Wentz, and for those that are staring at the category of sacks, intentional grounding is a sack to me. And the fact that Carson Wentz had 2 in addition to the actual sacks. Yeah. You're going to get pressures against Matthew Stafford.
Quarterback hits.
Right, and quarterback hits. Now,
and the difference, and I don't mean to cut you off, but the difference also between.
That's why you did it.
The difference also, and I'm going to let you finish, with all due respect.
Excuse me.
But the difference also between Carson Wentz and even Daniel Jones and Matt Stafford, he don't have any mobility.
No, there's no.
He's not escaping the stuff that they escape. And Carson Wentz escaped a few things.
Yeah.
You know, this dude ain't getting away.
Yeah.
Right, and on top of that, there's a clear distrust between Stafford and his offensive front because these second, third stringers, this is not who you built Super Bowl chemistry with. And on top of that, quiet as it's kept, remember, this is the same Matthew Stafford that was dealing with an elbow issue this offseason. Is that elbow 100%? Is it not? But even if it is 100%, psychologically, if you already don't trust the guys in front of you, you're going to try to get the ball out that much more quickly. So now you're shrinking your own window. All the Cowboys have to do is help him shrink that window that much more so. And the opportunities are going to be there for takeaways.
And it also speaks. It also speaks to, you know, we there's this conversation about, you know, mortgaging the future and spending money and where you spend your money, and certainly the Rams have mortgaged their future and they spend a lot of money on these skill guys. What have they done up front?
That's why McVay threw him under the bus.
What have they done up front
his presser
on that offensive line? What have they done up front? You know, you spent for Aaron Donald, you spent for all these other guys, these skill guys, the quarterback, but have you invested in that offensive line?
They have not. You rob Peter Paul, you know, you get caught.
And Whitworth retired. And,
and look, you do it every time. You do what the Rams did every time because they got exactly what you wanted. Yeah. And even more so, they needed some legitimacy in the market. I mean, they won a Super Bowl. You saw what that parade looked like. It was sad.
Steven won't do it every time.
Sad.
Steven won't do it every time.
I'm just talking about the Rams.
But you said you, as in general, as a team, because of the rewards, you do what they do every time. Steven's not doing it every time. He's not doing it at all.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And you see the results, right?
Well, right now we see 3-1, and most of the team is composed with homegrown and drafted talent.
Right, but if it don't lead to Super Bowls,
I get what
if it don't lead to Super Bowls, it don't matter.
I said right now.
Les Steve has solidified himself.
Absolutely.
One team got a title.
Solidified.
Absolutely.
One team got a title.
Absolutely fair.
Recently.
So that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I mean, but you know, sometimes you sell your soul and it pays off a little bit. I mean, they soul say, boom, this is what we're going to do.
And sometimes, always, the chicken always comes home to roost.
Right. He did it. So if you're going to go out there and go do it. It's like John Calipari. He went all that one and done. You know, he did walk away with one. Somebody else did one and done. He ain't working out like that for him. But you do it.
But it's like what John said. And the Cowboys are getting the Rams at a great time in that this is not going to be the same Rams team that the NFL sees in December or November after the trade deadline, because if the Rams don't get the ship righted right now, you better believe that front office is about to make a blockbuster trade.
I want to know what they got left to trade because they ain't got no picks.
Well, it's like Tampa Bay.
They can ask somebody in phrase. They got no picks.
Which goes back to what I'm saying. Maybe the chicken is finally coming.
And that's fine, but the difference is, and I know you're defending Steven, and that's fine. But the
defending them, giving credit where it's due.
Just
like I gave the Rams credit for going all in and getting the championship. But the difference is with the chicken coming on the home roost. The difference with the chicken coming on the roost on the Rams is they going to sleep at night with that Lombardi. Okay, that's fair.
And then so
I literally
so if you're not, so even if and it's a struggle because if it's fine to balance the budget and it's fine to say I want to have money for the future, but if you're not winning, no one cares.
Okay, and that's fair, which is why
your job is not to balance the budget.
Listen, which
the
is why
job is not to be under the cap.
Which
the
is
job
why
is to win
I would have
titles.
signed Von Miller after the Rams lost out on Von Miller. You make that happen. Yeah. So, you know, that's all I'm saying. You give credit where it's due. Credit to the Super Bowl paying off for them, but also
they messed up not doing Von Miller.
And there's credit to be paid elsewhere. So, you know, just don't piecemeal my
credit.
Well,
no, but we now what I'm saying is we can't necessarily get a Cowboys credit yet.
You can give credit for what's happening right now without expanding the credit beyond right now.
It's a class that's still going on.
Well, if we're just going to give credit on what's happened so far,
that's what I'm saying.
Which is fine. Then I'm also going to give credit to another person that's doing it that way, and that's what Howie Roseman's done with the Eagles.
Right.
And
fair.
And
Right.
to be honest with you, I look at that
Completely
and I'm just like,
fair.
damn,
Again,
that's impressive.
So completely fair.
At the end of the day,
and he's got a ring as a GM.
Completely
right.
fair.
Right. But I mean, they still have to do it this year.
Right. But overall,
for the whole season,
he's done it, and he's right back there.
Backup quarterbacks saved him on that one. You mentioned Nick
doesn't
Foles.
make
No, I'm not saying it. I'm saying because that was his signing. So that's what I'm saying. Like
at the end of the day,
your players have to step up.
At the end of the day, I'm sorry, I've been around there too long. I always judge everything in respect to the big picture.
Parcells said, all I can go by is what I see.
Everything is judged in respect to what does it mean for the big picture.
Big picture isn't finished being painted. That's what I'm saying. Put down the watercolors. Put down the watercolors.
Ain't no watercolors. It's not. That's a alarm. Anyway,
whose alarm sounds like that? Yeah. That sounds like a.
The bottom line is this.
That's all my child said. Sleepy time.
Yeah, there you go. Right on time.
Listen.
Right on time.
Listen.
Right
no
on time.
Super Bowl since 1995.
And this season has yet to tell the story of itself. That's what I'm saying.
So at the end of the day,
that's what I'm saying.
When we talk about credit,
that's what I'm saying.
Let's end it here. Is anyone real quick thoughts? Randy Gregory, knee surgery. Gonna miss some time with the Broncos.
I'm not even touching that.
And what do you want? Like
your thoughts.
Oh,
they almost signed him. Some people thought, hey, this was really bad. Some people said maybe he dodged the bullet.
Yeah, and Jerry will say that the reason they didn't is because of availability, whether he wants to admit that he also offered him a very similar contract. But with what's happened so far up to this point, they obviously, if Randy's healthy, I still look at what they were able to do with the money that they saved. It's hard to go against what the Cowboys did.
I mean, Derek got 3 players for one, and that's what he tells me. Okay.
We already know what you're going to say positive.
No. It's y'all going to stop trying me. Like, for real. Listen, my take on it is simply this. It's a knee injury. It's not tied to any other suspension issues he had. It's a knee injury. It could have happened no matter what team he played for, Denver, here, wherever the case may be. It's an occupational hazard.
He had knee injury here. I mean, that was
it happens. It's a knee injury.
He had that knee injury here.
So there you go. It could have happened anyway. But it's football.
But the other flip side of that is what the Cowboys have gotten out of the pass rush without him, with Dante Fowler and using Micah Moore as a defensive end. The Cowboys are happy with the trade.
They've done a good job. All right, 3-1 so far. Mike McCarthy, 15-6 the last 2 years as a head coach. John Machota, The Athletic, thank you very much. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com, thank you very much. Clarence Hill, I'm going to be done in 2 seconds. You can drink all the water you need to, man. Was that the alarm, the sleepy time alarm for you? Drink your water?
I need some water.
Need some medicine? Got your meds?
Got to clear my digestive system. Get old.
All right, bathroom right around the corner. All right, we're done. We're done. Media Mash. I'm Newey Scruggs. Talk to you next time.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?